Maul, I am tired of seeing phone plans and think that is a great price. Then I get the bill in the mail and it's not what they said. With Boost, you pay $25 a month forever. That's
Forever.
unlimited talk, text, and data at $25.
5G speeds not available in all areas. After 30 GB, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Even though Maul was getting killed for the old Kendrick take about Toronto, I did see a lot of people agreeing with him on the Wayne thing, and I'm here to argue. I think every legend we've had has dropped a dud.
Every legend has not dropped a dud. A dud? First of all, do you know what a dud is? Where we can unanimously say that shit is trash.
Do you think Eminem is a legend?
Yeah.
Do you think Eminem has dropped a dud?
Yes?
15 of them.
I'm not going to go that far.
That's a little wild. But
Sorry.
by Jay-Z standard, I think Blueprint 2 was a dud.
You don't
Crazy
get to say
as fuck.
by Jay-Z standard.
No, but that's how he
We
trying
only
to...
compare legends to themselves. What the fuck?
No, we don't.
No, we don't. We compare legends to other
When we
legends all
talked
the
about
time.
Wayne last week, we wasn't comparing him to himself. We was comparing it to the albums that dropped. And that shit is a dud.
I'm not huge on Nas's Untitled album. Not gonna say
Is
the
it a
real name,
dud? Is it a dud?
but that's better than his worst shit is better than everybody else's hot shit. So
but it's
it's a dud. Yes, it was a dud.
Nah, I don't think it was a dud.
He had to change the name.
Blueprint 2 is not a dud.
It's the bottom of his.
That doesn't mean it's a dud.
I'm sure, like numbers wise, I'm sure it's sold. But Wayne is doing what 150K first week. That's not a dud.
But Blueprint 2...
People would kill to sell that. A-list rappers right now would kill to do those first week numbers.
Yes, those numbers.
It's not a dud.
Those numbers, they would. That music, they wouldn't.
Ooh. So what's a dud then?
Okay, so now let's have that conversation. If you feel like Blueprint 2 is a dud, why do you feel like it's a dud? Because most people don't like Blueprint 2 because they feel like it was too much music.
It was, yeah.
It was a double disc.
A lot of duds on it.
I don't know if it's a lot of duds. He took some chances. The Sean Paul thing to me disgusting.
Wayne took some chances too.
I hate that record with Sean Paul. We didn't need that one. But I'm not going to say that album was a dud because there's some crazy records on both of those discs.
Okay, Magna Carta.
I'll slap the shit out you.
I don't think it's as bad as people make it out seem. I enjoy the album, but all that anticipation, you and Jungle Studios with fucking mobile providers.
Dud?
You sell 1 million records before the shit comes out because it's already on our phones.
Is it a dud?
The anticipation for that album became a dud. Yes, it got killed that first week.
Why are you catering it to, is it a dud? Don't tell me the anticipation that week, so now it's a dud. No, is it a dud?
Most people would say if Jay-Z had a dud, it would be Magna Carta. I do not agree with that, but most people would say that Magna Carta has gotten a bad rep. I think it's like, I agree with Rory. I think it's a way better album than people give it credit for, but most people would say that Magna Carta
Is it a dud?
I do not believe
it. It ain't no dud.
Dog, you invented 5G with it, and you're in the studio, Rick Rubin and Pharrell talking 5G. About a metaphor for fucking the ocean.
Okay.
And then it was just like, all right, this is what you were doing the entire time?
So do you feel like Magna Carta is a dud? I'm talking about you. Not in the scope of Jay's discography. You, when you listen to the album, you feel like it's a dud.
After he tried to break down the seasick line to Pharrell, and Pharrell went, what? It was kind of a dud to me. And then after the speakers blew out with Timberland.
He dancing. You got your thong on and you shaking ass. You dancing.
You guys won't tell me what a dud is, though, because I tried to go with a definition of numbers. So no, Magna Carta would not be that. Now you guys are telling me it's music. That's subjective. So what's a dud? I like Magna Carta, but the consensus when that shit came out after Timberland, July 4th, watching fucking whatever game was on where it was announced. Mm-hmm. Timberland blew his speakers out, which ended up being the worst fucking drums I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, it was a dud as far as the critics and fans went that week. I like it, but no one else did.
Okay. I mean, I think also a lot of the times dud can be subjective. I think that's
why I asked what a definition was.
We all feel
y'all
like,
are dancing, not me.
No, I'm not dancing. I feel like the Lil Wayne album that he just dropped was not good at all. I feel like there's a couple joints on there that's like, okay, Wayne is still in shape, he can still rap.
We agree there.
But the music to me is just not. I will never go, like if I don't go back to it and actively play like at least half of the album, I feel like that's a dud. If I don't go back to your album and play at least half of the tracks, you got 16 tracks. If I'm not going back and actively listen to at least 8, 9, that's a dud to me.
I mean, if we're talking about legends that actively drop, you can't name one outside of maybe Michael Jackson that has never dropped a dud.
They would say Michael has a dud too.
What's Michael's dud?
I don't I'm sure someone would say that Michael has a dud. I can't remember.
I mean, well,
which one
people,
it
we
was.
just seen.
He freed a whole killer whale.
Was it Butterflies that they said was Michael's dud?
Who said that?
No.
Where they at?
Find
Find who said Butterflies.
Find
Give me
them.
their IP address.
Find them. We need them. We need to talk to this person. Like, everybody, cut his router off.
Like I think I think the big three are legends, but I don't put them there yet as far as people that have been dropping music for 25 years. That's the people I'm talking about now. Yeah, I think eventually you're going to drop a dud if you stay active. And we've seen it with our legends.
Is it a
so
dud
Wayne is
or is
allowed
it-
to drop a dud.
Is it a dud or is it just like that's the worst album you dropped? Because that's the difference.
Okay.
But that's why I say you can only compare legends against their own discography. I'm not. Wayne's worst work is better than most people's favorite rap albums in the new
Will you
era.
go back to Wayne's last album and play at least half of those tracks?
Probably
Listen
not.
to it? No. So then that's a dud.
But you also are saying that legends can't drop duds, but said Eminem is a legend, and we can all agree here that he dropped
I
duds.
said legends can't drop duds. I mean, meaning that if a legend drops an album that's not good, like we hold them to a higher regard. So like with the Wayne shit, because you was like, nah, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not. Like when you're a legend, you can't drop a dud.
But Eminem has.
He has. And it happens. But I'm saying that you don't get a pass. Because you sound like you was trying to give Wayne a pass for dropping a dud. Nah, you don't get no pass for that. This gentleman right here, Rory, says, I agree with Maul. Thank you, Waltz. I agree with Maul. If Wayne dropped an okay or just a good album, the convo is completely different. But if you're in the convo of one of the greatest ever and you drop a dud, that it has to be made known that it was okay. Then it has to be made known that it was a dud. Yeah.
Okay, I don't feel this way, but do you think the consensus of the general public after Black Album happened, he retired, came back with Show Me What You Got, do you think Kingdom Come was deemed a dud when it came out?
Kingdom Come?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it was deemed a dud, but a lot of people didn't like it. I'm not gonna say dud though. A lot of people didn't. I don't think it sounded the way people.
History. I like it. I think it probably has one of the best intros. Lost One's one of my favorite songs. There's so much shit on there that's incredible, but let's not all act like everyone didn't say that was a fucking dud when it came out.
Oh, I don't remember if everyone was
I
saying
stood
it was
in line
dud.
for the fucking reflective cover.
I don't know.
And then we all opened it and was like, all right, man, could have stayed retired.
I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I didn't feel, me personally, I didn't feel like it was a dud.
Okay.
I didn't feel like it was a dud.
Listen, I like Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what the general public thinks.
Oh, I don't know what the general public was saying about that.
That's
album.
exactly what
year did that come out?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck the general public was saying.
That nigga said, what you say?
Anything. Anything. Like, what the fuck?
what was Kingdom Come? No, because wait, American Gangster was what? 07? So Kingdom Come was
Maybe 2 years after that.
No, because Kingdom Come was the
Peeje. 2003 was Kingdom Come.
Oh, hell no, I don't know what the general public in 03? I know what these niggas was thinking in 03?
I was in second
We
grade.
didn't even have social media, did we?
Oh
No.
my God. More after the Black Album, Fade to Black, when he handed the keys to the city over to you and Bleak, he disappeared and then came back, gave us a reflective cover that we'd never seen. Everyone was disappointed as far as the public went. Yes, that was the overall
remember
consensus.
that.
Anywhere you went was like,
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
that
saying I
shit,
don't remember that.
Coming off the Black Album, retiring, going to Def Jam. Yeah, everyone at that time, that first few weeks, everyone was like, he could have probably just stayed retired. This ain't your return album.
But people gonna.
I remember that consensus.
Yeah,
And I was young.
all right, now we're just rewriting history. That is what
I don't
happened.
remember that. You was like 16, 15.
He wasn't even 16. He was like
13,
10.
14.
Get the fuck out of here with this take. You hear this shit, Peeje? This malarkey. How the fuck do you know what people, the general consensus was when you was 13?
The TV. That's back when you used to
TV?
watch
Walking around.
MTV, BT
You acting like a
News.
14-year-old isn't talking to people? What the fuck are we talking about?
You had to be home before the street
You act like I was 8 years old. I was 14. I was in high school.
And you
turning
still had to be home
red.
by the time dinner was done. You didn't know what the general public was thinking. You don't know
What does that have to do with ghetto techno?
You don't do well. That's different. You talking about a song? I'm saying the general consensus about the album. I don't remember that.
Kingdom Come came out 2006. Peeje gave me the
I was
wrong
16.
year.
I was driving.
Yeah, you still don't know what the general consensus was thinking though. Not at 16. You don't. That's impossible to know that at 16.
Dog.
Your world is so small at 16. You don't know what everybody is thinking.
Maul, I get what you're saying, but kids run the music industry and run
No,
with
the fuck
hot
they
in the music
don't.
industry. Teenagers and young adults, yes, they do.
Run the music industry? Is that what you just said?
When it comes to what's hot and what's popular, yes, they do. That's why y'all don't understand the allure
These
of
niggas
Playboy
can't even
Cardi.
talk. How the fuck they running what's hot and what's like? They can't even speak.
That's now, but back then, the kids decide what music is going. Everybody appeals to kids. You know that. Everybody is trying to appeal to 13.
Jay-Z has
14.
never tried to appeal to kids. He has never made an album for kids. So let's stop that right there.
Are you about to tell me 16-year-olds are not listening to Jay-Z in 2006?
I did not say that.
I'm saying with
Demaris. I'm saying with to Demaris's point, Jay-Z has not made an album thinking about kids.
Of course not. I'm not.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm speaking to. I'm just speaking to what she said. He's never went into the studio and said, "I'm making this album for kids." It's
so
never
what do you
happened.
think singles are for? Like why Jay-Z is so successful is because he catered his music to a wide audience.
Nah, Hard Knock Life was definitely for 40-year-olds for sure.
It's got an Annie hook. Kids are literally on the fucking hook.
So that means it's for kids?
Not that
No,
it's
but it's going
for
to appeal,
kids,
like, a
but it's
kid is going to like
appeal
it.
to kids.
That's different.
And when I say
That's a whole
kids, I'm
different
not
statement.
talking about babies. I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about teenagers and young adults.
One of my early memories of the radio is More Money, More Problems being on the radio because I didn't know what the fuck they were saying. It was catchy. Yeah, that appeals to kids. Catchy songs appeal to kids.
MTV.
Catchy songs appeal to anybody. What are you talking about?
BT 106 and Park, MTV, all of those things they appealed to kids, not children, but to kids.
When they went to the
young
window,
teenagers.
it wasn't a bunch of 40-year-olds like, yo, salute. It was a bunch of kids and their parents.
Yeah, but that's, again, I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I'm saying these artists are not going, Jay-Z in particular is not going in the studio making an album thinking about what are the kids going to think about this. That's not what he's doing. He's making music, and whoever likes it, likes it. But it's not for kids. He's not.
Of course,
Yeah,
but back when Jay-Z was also young, he was making music for people in his age range. No, you don't think that was happening?
Yeah, but again, you talking about rap. First of all, rap is a young sport. Number one,
exactly.
So it's going to appeal to a younger audience just by the nature of the art, the culture. But when you talk about his content and what he's saying and what he's talking about, that's not. He's not rhyming and rapping and telling you fiends could catch a freeze off my kneecap. He ain't saying that for kids.
Of course not. No, but just
all right, so I'm just saying he's not making it for kids. It's gonna appeal because it's hip hop, it's rap. This is what kids in the inner city. This is what they listen to. This is what they see. This is what they grow up around. But they're not the ones that determine if it's hot or not. Like, no, that's not who determines that.
That's just where we're gonna have to disagree. We're gonna have to disagree. That is who determines what's hot or not. Because those are back in those days, back in 2006, when you had to get your music video premiered on certain things and you were trying to get people to buy your albums and you were marketing towards younger adults because younger adults are more likely to spend their money on that type of shit or beg their parents to spend their money on that type of shit.
Why was the fourth quarter at that time always the time when rappers put out their albums? It was because Christmas. Because kids are going to ask their parents to buy the CD.
That's why?
Yes.
Because of Christmas?
Then why was it the fourth quarter?
Or because it was the end of year reporting for the labels and then the numbers had to match for the year.
And what is the highest consumer rate?
It wasn't for Christmas. What are you talking about? It wasn't
Call
just...
your brother. I guarantee you he'll say the same thing.
Call your brother.
But it wasn't just for Christmas, though.
Dog, that's the highest consumer rate at that time. People are spending the most money. Kids are asked. That's why they put out everything at that time. What are we talking about? That's a fact in the world, not just music.
Yes, Christmas time, people buy gifts. I get that part. Christmas is catered around buying gifts for kids. Kids are not the only ones that receive gifts during Christmas. What I'm trying to tell you is when rappers put out music, kids didn't make it hot. Kids found out what was hot based on what the older niggas in the hood was listening to.
We're saying numbers. What separated Ho from everything is because he appealed to so many people.
Snoop was hot because the older niggas on my block said he was hot. I only knew DMX was dope because the older niggas on my block was saying DMX was dope.
But you saying that the older niggas on your block, were the older niggas on your block 20, 21, 22, or were the older niggas on your block 35, 40?
It ranges from 20s to 30s to 40s. It was a bunch of old dudes on my block. But what I'm saying is, me being 13, 14, I only knew Snoop was dope because dudes that had cars, older dudes that was riding around listening, that had the girls, that's what they was playing. And I'm like, shit, I want to listen to that.
Was in between 19 and 30 maybe. They were not 45 years old.
They weren't kids though. Back to this consent. They were not kids, is what I was saying.
But I've been clarified that when I say kids, I mean teenagers and young adults. People from the ages of 14.
Well, that's not kids. That changes everything you just said. You can't take kids.
But
you saying making content that's not for kids isn't like Eminem's whole entire career. Why he blew up was because of kids, and his content was way crazier than Jay-Z's.
Never for kids. But he had kids as fans.
That's what separated Eminem from everything was because the kids, myself included, it felt like, damn, this is dangerous to listen to. Like, I hope my mom doesn't know that I'm listening to this shit.
Nicki Minaj fans as well. Nicki Minaj's fans were all young kids. Like, they were young kids. Her music was not for kids.
The whole time. The intention is to go to a wide audience.
That is the intention, yes.
But the kids is what's going to make you hot. Period. If you don't have the kids, there's only so far you will go. There's only so far you will go if you don't have the kids. You can have the kids and not have the adults. Hence the Playboy Cardis, hence the Ice Spices. You can have the kids and not have the adults and still have an amazing career. But you can't have the adults and not have the kids and blow up like that. It doesn't work unless you're already a legend and you've already had the kids, and the kids who are now the adults were your fans back then. It just doesn't work like that. You do need the teenagers and young adults to make music pop. It's just always been like that.
Did you know the public's views of Volume 1 when it came out?
Volume 1 was
97.
No, the public views, no.
Not at all.
No. I knew the views on the people in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The people around you, yeah.
Yeah, they fucked with it.
But how old were you? 16?
15, 16,
yeah. So why can't a 16-year-old know what the fuck people think of an album?
No, you talking about you said the general consensus.
Yeah.
No, you knew the people in your radius, in your neighborhood. You didn't know the general consensus of what this album that came out was. You knew what the people in your neighborhood was saying about it. You knew what the people in your barbershop were saying about it.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
That is a thing. But when you say general, I'm thinking like the entire, like, what is the entire fucking country saying about this artist that just dropped? Like, how we know now when the artist drop, we can know what everybody is feeling about it, or what everybody seems to be feeling about it. It wasn't like that in 97. What are you talking about?
For the most part, everyone has similar thoughts.
That's
not
crazy.
Exactly. Depending on the regions and things like that. Because I grew up thinking that the general consensus was that Jay-Z was the best rapper to ever have rapped. And then I started meeting niggas from the South and they looked at me like I had 7 heads.
Yeah, but we're talking about Jay-Z fans.
But again, and that's false too, because a lot of niggas in the South fuck with Jay.
A lot of niggas from the South do, but a lot of niggas from the South do not look at Jay the way that we do. It's not the general consensus that it's well known that Jay-Z is the greatest rapper of all time. In the South, it is not looked at like that.
Yeah, but
there's big debate.
I just feel like this.
But even here in New York, there's a lot of people in New York that don't feel like Jay-Z is the best rapper ever.
Yeah, but we look at them like weirdos
because they are. But I think this is semantics.
We don't claim it.
And no, I can't prove it, but everyone knows how Kingdom Come came across in the beginning. Like,
I would have to agree with you. I had a father who was a Jay-Z fan. I would have to agree with you.
It wasn't actually till way later when everyone was like, yo, remember we used to kill this album? This shit is all right.
You heard what she just said? What her father said about the album? Somebody older.
Okay.
And then that's how she felt about the album?
Yo, at 16, I knew people that were 20. I know that sounds insane, but yeah, like I knew older people.
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying you got most of what you felt like from an album based on the older people that were around you and what they were saying, how they felt about the music. That's just how it's always been.
But I felt at 16, 17, Black Album was better.
Okay. You can still listen to it and feel how you feel.
I went to Fade to Black to the movies to see it. Like, I was a Jay-Z fan.
I'm not saying you can't listen to something and no matter what age you are,
I felt like it wasn't older people telling me it was bad. I was like, this ain't that.
But because it don't always go like that, because my father thought Soulja Boy was the worst thing that ever happened to music. My father also thought that Drake was the worst thing that ever happened to music. And I used to sit and play fucking Drake, Soulja Boy, all of that, Crank That Shit, all of that, Lean With It, Rock With It, all of that. I used to make my father sit down and listen to it. So there was, no matter how trash he told me it was, like, I insisted that it was good because it was good to me and because it was good to my peers. Yeah, you can still listen to it and feel how you feel. But I'm just saying, most of where you get your taste in music, you hear artists now when they sit down and speak, they talk about what their parents were playing in the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
They talking about what older people were playing in the cars. Like, that's where you get your influence and how you see how people are around you are feeling about music that's coming out. That's where you pick that up from. It's the older generation. It's like, okay, they fucking with that. This is what's playing outside when I go outside. Everybody drive past, they playing this in their car. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
That's how you fell in love with most of your music. You would hear you would hear it moving around outside, hear it in cars, hearing it playing out of somebody's window, like that's what it was. And then you would be like, yo, I need to go get that mixtape or that CD. I need to go play that. Then you start playing it on your way to school, listening to your headphones, like, but you found it from older people in your neighborhood. That's all I'm saying. Like that plays a large part of it.
For sure, but it doesn't shape an opinion.
No. It doesn't shape an opinion. But
I remember arguing with people about Volume 3, which is, that is a special place in I like that album more than most people because it was like one of the first CDs I ever had. But I've heard people tell me like, yo, you like, what's the song Mariah Carey that Swizz did? It's like one of the worst Jay-Z songs ever. It's like one of my favorites.
Well, Mariah?
Are you talking about Sweetheart? No, that's
on Volume
that's
3.
JD.
It's like one of the worst Swizz beats ever.
It's the things that you do to make you feel so.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I remember everyone killing that, and I loved it. Like,
yeah, that song was dope.
It doesn't shape your opinion, but I guess the environment would. I don't know. We just went on a tangent. I know Peeje is pissed.
It wasn't a bad tangent.
I mean, I guess we can go to voicemails.